Unfortunately, over the last 2 weeks, we've lost a home to coastal erosion in Thorpeness. A lady in her 80s that's had to move out of her home. She's luckily been able to move into her daughter's home, but if she hadn't, she would have been put in a bedsit in a town an hour away to her left or an hour away to her right.
Let me just say my heart goes out to the homeowners and the family that you were talking about. You just can't imagine how that would affect those involved.
We have to engage with an understanding that these people are going through trauma. And I think if that's our starting point, then all of our stakeholders, all of our engagement needs to fundamentally recognise that. Jean Flick was told that her home would have to be demolished and that she would have to move out whilst that took place. Natural England got involved and they had to do a fauna assessment of her home before the demolition took place. And that made her feel they were taking the needs of the fauna and fauna more seriously than they were her own personal needs. Then they discovered a bat in her roof. And after she moved out, they sent the people spent 2 days monitoring. Sorry, 2 people spent 3 days monitoring the bat's activity while she physically was moved out of her home. What's your reflections on the Batgate?
At the end of the day, there are a number of statutory issues that need to be sorted out for us to treat people with dignity. All of the things that you have just said are absolutely awful. The bat issue is the first time we've ever come across that, and the lesson that we would learn from that is that when our contractors need to go in and demolish properties in future, that will be part of the surveys that are done at the time.
Once it got into the media, that there was active demolition and active erosion, we were seeing people, and local residents were telling me that people were taking day trips there to go and look at the coastal erosion. I mean, it got to the point where people were practically knocking on doors, saying to them, have you seen what's outside your door? And of course they have. And they feel responsible for telling the story every time to these day trippers that come out for it. So I think I'd like to, has anyone else had that in their experience, and is there any way that you can actively manage that?
We've had some really significant issues that we've had to involve the police in. Your personal effects, your children's effects, your children's play toys being picked through by a YouTuber who is happily then displaying that all over the internet is one of the most traumatic things that our community have had to deal with.
This morning's evidence session has been enormously impactful, and it has justified, I think, the suggestion from Jenny and others on the committee that this was a necessary and appropriate subject for the committee to be investigating. So you will hear further from us. There will be a report in due course, and it will be very much informed by the evidence that we heard from yourselves and from the earlier